Palestinian negotiating team resigns. CNN. The Palestinian negotiating team has resigned and will not participate in peace talks with the Israelis. A spokesman for the Palestinian mission to the United Nations told CNN Wednesday. The team resigned due to the Israeli illegal practices, especially settlement activities, Rabbi Hantuli said in an email. There are efforts to convince them to revert. It is time for the international community and the Quartet members to stop treating Israel as a government above the laws of man and hold them accountable. Palestinian chief negotiator Saeb Erekat told Al Jazeera America. He was referring to the United Nations, Russia, United States, and the European Union's peace efforts. Settlement building in East Jerusalem and on the West Bank is the issue that will make or break the negotiations, he said. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has a choice. Settlements or peace. He can't have both. Read. Israeli-Palestinian relations hits new snakes as Kerry visits Jerusalem. Ending the talks would be a blow to efforts by the Obama administration to get long-stalled discussions back on track. But a senior administration official downplayed the news, saying that Erekat had issued that threat in the past, and that Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, the man in charge, has said that he is committed to the U.S. brokered Mideast peace negotiations with Israel. We've been seeing Erekat to do this before, where he threatened to resign because he's not happy with the way talks are going, but he ends up taking it back and continuing with the negotiations, the official told CNN. If this ends up being a real resignation this time, which again we don't know, but if it is, we expect the negotiations will continue. The official added, we have to see how it plays out, but no one is really concerned about it at this point. Read. Obama focuses foreign policy on Iran and Middle East peace talks. The negotiators submitted their resignations to Abbas. Hanan Ashuraei told CNN in an interview in Roman on the West Bank. Reason is that they believe that there is too much pressure coming from the Americans, she said. The talks can be resumed and successful if the Americans can rectify the flow of Israeli exceptionism and impunity by bringing Israel into compliance with international law and cessation of all settlement activity. It will be very difficult to find any Palestinian who will be willing to negotiate with such disparity between occupier and the occupied. Read. Interviewing in Middle East turmoil. Mission impossible? The next step, Ashurawi said, would be for the PLO Executive Committee to accept the resignations. Talk about expanding settlements has rendered the peace talks irrelevant, if not a total mockery, she said. The announcement came a day after Israel canceled controversial plans to construct more than 20,000 homes in East Jerusalem and on the West Bank. Construction and House Minister Uri Ariel made the decision after Netanyahu asked him to reconsider the long-term building plans. This is a meaningless step, legally and in practice, and an action that creates an unnecessary confrontation with the international community at a time when we are making an effort to persuade elements in the international community to reach a better deal with Iran, Netanyahu's office said in a statement. At this time, the attention of the international community must not be diverted from the main effort, preventing Iran from receiving an agreement that will allow it to continue its military nuclear program. Lira Amiha of the activist group Peace Now said the Housing Ministry issued 23,786 planning tenders 2 weeks ago. The tenders are issued to companies to draw plans to be used in possible construction. Lara Friedman, Director of Policy and Government Relations at Americans for Peace Now in Washington, said the plans had included construction in areas deep in the West Bank, east of the barrier that separates Israel from the West Bank. Ashrawi said earlier that Netanyahu appeared to be intent on scouting any hope for a solution in peace talks, recently relaunched by U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry. There are currently more than 300,000 settlers in the West Bank, according to the Israeli Bureau of Statistics, and about 200,000 in East Jerusalem. Read. 5 ways to tell if Middle East peace talks are serious. There is another news. Toronto Mayor Rob Ford's ex-staffers detail erratic behavior in documents. CNN. Explosive new allegations surfaced about embattled Toronto Mayor Rob Ford in court documents released Wednesday, the same day the city council voted to ask him to take a leave of absence. The court report, more than 500 pages long, alleges a pattern of drug use and erratic and sometimes abusive behavior by the mayor. A judge ordered the reports released late last month. The documents include police interviews with former staff members, information obtained from surveillance crews and cameras, and even an examination of the mayor's garbage. The documents were used by Canadian police to get a search warrant for Alexander Lisey, Ford's friend and occasional driver, whom police accused of marijuana possession and trafficking. Several staffers said they were asked to buy alcohol for the mayor. One incident described by a former staffer alleged that Ford, while driving, stopped the vehicle, guzzled from vodka, and drove on. Chris Fickle, who worked as a special assistant to Ford, said the mayor would ask him to perform odd jobs at his house. Fickle said he would be called to change lights bulbs in the front lawn, change batteries in his children's toys, buying cartons of cigarettes, bleach, laundry detergent, and Diet Coke for the mayor's wife. One staffer told police the mayor was inebriated on St. Patrick's Day in 2012 and got into a physical altercation with two staff members. He alleges the mayor was verbally abusive and inappropriate with a female staff member. Another staff said the same night he saw a woman who may have been an escort or prostitute in the mayor's office. Ford's former press secretary George Christopoulos also said women often came to the mayor's office and told staffers that they have smoked a joint with the mayor on the street outside of the bar. These women were told by the mayor that they could have a job. Christopoulos would then have to interview these women and try to talk them out of a job. None of the allegations against Ford has been proven, and he faces no criminal charges. Ford vows to stay on the job. Despite the Toronto City Council's motion, the mayor of Canada's largest city insists he will stay on the job. Wednesday's vote is largely symbolic. It does not have the power to force Ford from his post. The 10th council meeting came more than a week after Ford admitted smoking crack cocaine. Days after that admission, a new video showed a ranting, swearing Ford threatening to kill someone. Toronto mayor's rant caught on video. During Wednesday's meeting, Ford made a further confession to the council. He said he has purchased illegal drugs within the past 2 years, while he was in office. Despite his escalating troubles, Ford insists he has been a good mayor and that voters will decide during next year's election whether to keep him. "I've made a mistake. I'm human," he said. "I apologize. I want to move on." Ford said that he's been subjected to a public flogging and that the experience has been the most humiliating thing in his life, maybe the worst week in his life next to his father's death. Despite the admission of drug use and of heavy drinking, Ford flatly denied that he's addicted to alcohol or drugs. "The reason I drank or did drugs was not because of stress. It was out of sheer stupidity," he said. "That's all it was." Ford's brother, Councillor Doug Ford, and other family members have defended the embattled mayor. On Wednesday, Doug Ford appeared on CNN and blamed the scandal on politics. "Rob does not come into work drunk," he told CNN. He said he's tried illicit drugs under a drunken stupor, and he's not doing drugs, and he's not drinking, so he's moving in the right direction, in my opinion. But the public flocking, never seen anything like it. This man has apologized profusely. He's asked for forgiveness, and the rest is sheer politics down here. He's not Teflon, but to Ford Nation, Toronto mayor is still their man. There is another news. NASA releases new photo of Saturn, Earth. CNN. NASA has given the people of Earth a rare treat, a color mosaic that captures not only Saturn, but also the tiny dots of Earth and other planets in the background. The panorama, released Tuesday, was captured by the Cassini spacecraft on July 19, when the sun slipped behind the ringed planet. Earth appears as a bright blue dot to Saturn's lower right, just above Saturn's outer, hollow-like E-ring. Venus is a dot to the upper left, with Mars appearing as a faint red dot above and to the left of Venus. This is the first image in which Saturn, its moons and rings, and Earth, Venus and Mars are all visible, NASA said. The image, a panorama of 141 wide-angle pictures, covers 404,818 miles across Saturn and its ring system. Cassini images showing both Saturn and Earth are rare because the Sun is so close to Earth that targeting the blue planet would damage Cassini sensors, NASA says. The July 19 image was possible because Saturn blocks out the Sun. Lonely, young planets drifting in space without a star. Space-minded Earthings might remember that July 19th was waved as Saturn Day. The Cassini team, knowing it would be capturing the Saturn-Earth images, invited people to take photos of themselves, waving to the sky while the spacecraft took an Earth's picture. Cassini was never going to see people gesturing from the tiny blue speck, of course. But that wasn't the point. People shared more than 1,400 images of 1,400 images of themselves from that event, and in August, NASA released a collage of those pictures assembled to look like, from a distance, a portion of Earth's western hemisphere. The Cassini spacecraft was launched in 1997 and has been in orbit around the 6 planets from the Sun since 2004. NASA hopes to have it continue to get more pictures and other data of Saturn, its rings and moons through 2017. Diamonds may be produced on other planets, including Saturn. There is another news. Motorola launches lower-cost Moto G, but China misses out. Sao Paulo, CNN. Motorola unveiled its new relatively low-cost smartphone on Wednesday, aimed at consumers in emerging markets and those on a tight budget everywhere. But the one country noticeably missing from the rollout of Moto G was China, thanks to the unfriendly relations with Motorola's parent company Google. The Moto G will cost just $179 without a contract in the United States, about a third the cost of an iPhone 5C, and about half the cost of a Galaxy S4 Mini. Motorola launched the new device in Sao Paulo, Brazil, in a presentation beamed around the globe. CEO Dennis Woodside said Moto G has set its sights on the whole world. It's really designed to serve the half a billion in the world who next year will buy a smartphone for under $200, he told CNN ahead of the launch. Many of those people are in emerging markets, like Brazil, the world's sixth largest economy with a rising middle class and a major smartphone market. The Moto G won't be offered in the US until January, and it will eventually go on sale in about 30 countries. In Brazil, sales began Wednesday. The phone started at 649 reais, or about $280, compared to about $600 for the cheapest new iPhone without a contract. It aimed at the country's emerging middle class, people who often don't have computers at home. Brazil is an incredibly vibrant market, Woodside said. People are coming on to the mobile internet for the first time. Industry observers at the launch said it should be a hot ticket heading into Christmas, with its price and features making it competitive. Those features include a big, high-resolution screen, the latest Android software, a long-life battery, 8 GB of internal storage, and a 5-megapixel camera. Most people in the world can't afford $500, $600 for a smartphone, said Woodside during the launch. We think the industry should provide more for the consumer dollar. In the US, Moto G is being targeted at the prepaid market, especially students and children. As for China, it is the world's biggest market for low-end mobile phones, but the government blocks many of the Google services, like Gmail and Google Search, that Motorola says will make Moto G the new smartphone of choice. There is another news. Japan economy slows dramatically. Japanese economy slowed dramatically in the third quarter. The government said Thursday that the economy grew at an annual rate of 1.9% in the 3 months that ended September 30, compared to 3.8 points in the previous quarter. The slowdown in gross domestic product follows unsustainably strong growth in the first half of the year, and is therefore no cause for concern, said Marcel Thailand of Capital Economics. Weaker exports and private consumption were the main culprits, Thailand added. The slower expansion was still slightly better than what analysts had expected. Japan's stock benchmark Nikkei continued to rise in morning trading, gaining 1.4%. The Japanese economy is expected to regain momentum soon as consumer spending accelerates before a planned tax hike kicks in next April, Thailand said. Related story: Year of Abenomics delivers Japan revival. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has been working to jolt the world's third-largest economy out of stagnation. His ambitious turnaround plan, known as Abenomics, aims to end years of deflation, leading to more robust growth. Abe has increased government spending and installed a central banker who is not afraid to use aggressive monetary policy. Abe has even raised Japan's sales tax in a nod to budget discipline. Related story: Women hold key to fixing Japan's economy. Perhaps the biggest single factor in Japan's change of direction has been the country's central bank, led by Haruhiko Kuroda. Once reluctant to engage in unconventional monetary policy, the Bank of Japan has embraced Abe's vision, launching a massive bond buying program. Markets have responded in a dramatic way, with the yen falling 20% against the dollar in the past year. The Nikkei index of leading shares has added 60% over the same period. A foreign currency lowers the price of a country's exports, making them more attractive to international buyers by undercutting competitors, and some of Japan's flagship brands are already reaping the rewards. Related story: Japan won't give up CD obsession. Why the Japanese still love music CDs. Toyota raised its full-year profit forecast by 12% last week, thanks to strong sales in the US and the weaker yen. Other firms, including Honda and Hitachi, are also riding high on the weaker yen. Still, it is too early to call Abenomics a complete success. Wages have not gone up by much, and promised structural reforms have been difficult to implement. Abe's government has proposed measures that would make the labor market more flexible, encourage immigration, bring nuclear power plants back online, and draw more Japanese women into the workforce. Most of those ideas have, so far, gone nowhere.